This is not the what of lesson planning, but the how, the process of planning a single lesson. The how comes before the what. This is the thinking process behind planning. Remember, thinking moves from outside to in. You internalize the process. That's good old Vygotsky. Keep it simple, don't overcomplicate it. More complicated lesson planning does not mean more academic rigor. Keep it simple, don't overthink. Know that the process and the form that you will use to plan lessons evolve and change as you evolve and change. Hopefully, your lesson plans won't look the same now as they do in 5 or 10 years as you grow and change. But know this, effective teachers plan. Keep it simple, keep it simple. Again, don't overcomplicate, but you must plan. More complication does not mean more rigor. So the basic lesson plan is this. You have a purpose. What do you want students to learn about? You have some input, some information, what they need to know. I recommend outline form using short abbreviated sentences. It allows you to see at a glance and to quickly organize so it's in a logical sequence. And then some activity to manipulate that information. Teaching is this. Say a little bit, do a little bit. That is it. That is the essence of teaching. There's no such thing as winging it. Winging it is for the birds. The more detailed your lesson plan doesn't mean complicated, but the less disruption that you will have. So here are the steps. First, identify what exactly do I want to teach? Is it a skill, a concept, some knowledge? Am I going to have an activity to reinforce a skill? Is it a reading experience, a writing? You go about these all a little bit differently. So know what you want to teach. What you want to teach could be determined by a number of things. The curriculum, the textbook, standards, observing your students. Oh, I guess they need a little of this. Maybe your students are interested in something. Maybe you're interested in something. You want to have a neat lesson related to something that is of your interest or passion, or the world around you. You are opening up the world to your students. Concepts are knowledge. Next, you may need to get information. Don't rely exclusively on any teacher's manual. What is the salient information? What do students need to know? If you're teaching a skill, break it into parts. How do you do it? What are the steps? Next, you have to create a draft. Get a bunch of the ideas on a sheet of paper or on a computer without regard to order or thinking about it. Just get them so you can see them all in one place. Next, you have to identify the salient information. What can be taught in one session? What's important here? We don't simply want to dump information on students. Too much information is just as dangerous as too little information. What you don't include in a lesson is just as important as what you do include. Think about your students. What can they comprehend in one session? What is developmentally appropriate? Then, organize the information, put it in an outline for the input part of your lesson. Organized information makes it easier to encode. If it's organized up here, organized on the lesson, it will be organized when the students try to encode and understand. And again, I believe in short, abbreviated sentences to hold the idea. Then, review and revise. Too much information, too little. Does it make sense? Does it flow? Is it organized? Will students understand? Review and revise. Then, plan an activity based on the input. This is where you use your teacher creativity and intelligence, or use Bloom's taxonomy, the action words there, help you plan and organize activities. Now remember, in activity, the purpose is to extend, manipulate, apply, reinforce, or practice some aspect of the input. Sometimes this is called homework, but homework should always be practice of what has been learned. So a question here is, what do you think will be practice for a lesson on lesson planning? What do you think that will be? Yes, it will be to have you plan and do a lesson.